Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are doing part 8 of our mood pillow. This will be our final part, yay! Parts 1, 2, 3 and 4 are the autumn, fall, winter side of the pillow. Parts 5, 6, 7 are the spring, summer side of the pillow. Part 8 will be putting a border of I'll tell you what colours we're using. The first part of the border will be a row of single crochets along there with your orange, and the second part will be a row of half double crochets along the whole piece in your white, or you could use the ghost colour that we used on our autumn pillow. It doesn't matter what you use, preferably the white, I think, because that will be showing. Then we are going to be sewing our pieces. I'm sorry guys, yes we are going to be using our little needle right there to sew our pieces together. And you will need, yes guys, you will need your insert, yay. Now we'll talk about the insert and the size and everything during the tutorial, but I'm very pleased to say that this is the last part of our mood pillow that we started. Oh, I don't even know when we started. I think it was October last year, or maybe a little bit earlier even. So today is the very last part. You will also need, for the very final part of the tutorial, stitch markers, which are these guys right here. You can use any size you like. And what we're going to do is stitch mark, well, I'll explain it to you better during the tutorial, one side only. And once we have finished crocheting that side, then we'll put the stitch markers in the other. And I'll explain that to you further in the tutorial. So I'm not going to talk anymore because this tutorial is a little bit longer than most, and I'm just going to get started. Good luck, guys. All right, for the first part of our tutorial, we are going to grab our hook and our contrast yarn, which was the orange. Let's get a nice little close-up for you all. Okay, now what you do is you start before any corner. So it can be any stitch you want. It doesn't really matter. The second, the first, it doesn't really matter. I'm starting 1, 2 stitches before. All right, so let's pop our little thread through and just pass your tail end over. It kind of locks it into place. It doesn't mean anything. You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, so we're going to start. All right, so we're going to chain 1, give it a nice tug tight, and we are going to do a single crochet in the same stitch right there. Now this piece is a little bit big now, so I'm struggling to hold it. Sorry guys. Okay, so there's your first single crochet. Now you can keep crocheting over that thread if you want, with another single crochet in the next stitch. Pop your hook in the stitch right there, pull the loop through, pull it up, and another loop through. So it's very basic. Now we're going to jump into the corner. So it's 1 single crochet in the corner, another single crochet in the corner, chain 1. You might want to turn it a bit if you can, if it helps you. And then we do 2 more single crochets in the corner. So there we go. Okay, all good. Now we just jump into the next stitch. Don't get in there because it'll tighten it. Just jump into your very next stitch with 1 single crochet, and then another in the next, and another in the next. That's better. I'm splitting stitches everywhere here, guys. All right, so we single crochet in the next stitch, and the next, and the next, and so on until we get to that join. We're going to do a little something there. And what it does is it actually locks the join into place when we get to it, which we are nearly there. Okay. All right. 1 stitch before the join. All right, so there's your space, okay? There's your join and there's your other space, so it's the opposite space. So what we're doing is we're going to put a normal single crochet in the space, Then we're going to do what we call a half single crochet. We put our hook in the space and pull up a loop. Hold it there. We're not finishing our single crochet. We're going to go into the very next space and pull up a loop. So you should have 3 loops on your hook, and then you just pull a normal thread through as though you were doing a single crochet. Then we're going to do a real single crochet in the corner. Okay, I know they're straights, but these are corners to the straight part. That sounds weird, doesn't it? All right, so what it's done is that's shown you that there's a stitch there, and this has locked your single crochets into place. All right, now we're going to single crochet into every stitch. Now we're not going through the space, we're going through the actual stitch right there. See where you've got your 2 V's? So this has been a very long haul, this pillow, guys, and you're wondering, when is she going to finish it? Well, we're going to finish it today. Yay. Very excited, very, very excited. I'm more excited to have it sitting on my couch. We actually are in summer here in Melbourne, Australia. And it's not the best summers in the world, I must admit. We've had all sorts of nasty bushfires and really hasn't been, it's just been either too hot or too cold, or it doesn't know what it wants to do. Okay, nearly up to that next join. Very exciting. And because the piece is only a pillow and not a blanket, this will be a lot quicker to finish. All right, so we're up to our little join there. We're going to put a normal single crochet in there first. Now we're going to do that half single crochet where we're popping the hook in the first space, pull up a loop, pop it into your next space, pull up a loop, yarn over hook, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And now we do a single crochet in the same space. Okay, so there we go, we've locked that into place. Pretty cool, huh? Jump into your next stitch with 1 single crochet, and then your next one. Now this side here we're about to finish, so we'll get to that corner and I'll show you what to do in the corners. So don't forget, guys, if you haven't yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, now's the time to do it. So you will receive further tutorials in your inbox if you click on the subscribe button. And also you need to actually click on all so you can receive all of the tutorials, because there's a lot of interesting things to come this year. This is going to be a very big year for Wow Crochet. Now, one of these corners just before will have a stitch, but hasn't got one in this one, so that's okay. A joining stitch, okay, but not in this one, so that's good. All right, so there's your stitch before the corner. You do a normal corner there. I mean, normal stitch there. Sorry, guys. Wake up, Mary. Okay, there's the corner, and all you're going to do is exactly what you did in that previous corner right there. Okay, we are doing 2 single crochets in the corner, 1 and 2, chain 1, and another 2 single crochets in the same corner. Okay, now, all right, now we're going to single crochet into that very next stitch right there, 1, 2, and 3, and so on until we get to that very middle line again. Okay. Don't forget, guys, if you do want to leave a comment in the comment section down below, do so. Any questions that you may have regarding the tutorial, any questions that you may have regarding further tutorials using this stitch. I know one of my followers, let's call her Angela, has asked if we can make a blanket in this particular piece using the squares and the single crochet joins. And I said, yes, we can, but not right now. I have a few things up my sleeves at the moment. They're going to come out first, and then probably around March we'll discuss what kind of blankets we're going to do for the year. Pretty cool, huh? Oh, it might even be the end of February. Oh, it could even be middle February. Oh, gosh. We'll never know. We'll find out once we get to the end of what we're doing over the next few weeks. Right, we are nearing that center right there where our join is. So we've got a stitch before the join. Excuse me. All right, now we've got a space right there, which is the corner, and the space there corner. We're going to do a single crochet in the first space, like so. then a half single crochet. Pull up your loop, hold it there. So we haven't completed it yet, okay? Now we pull the loop through, and that's how we complete our half single. And then we do another single crochet in that space, and then we just single crochet across like we did before. Okay, all right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to stop that for a minute and show you what you've done so far. Okay, oh, it's looking gorgeous. I love this contrast look. Okay, so you started there, you did your corner, you got to here, you did your single, and then you did your half single to jump over, and then another single, and then you did the same when you got to this corner, edge, sorry, and when you got to this corner right here, you did your 2 single crochets, chain 1, 2 single crochets, got to here, did your jump, and that's what you're going to do for the rest. Whoops, the rest of your tutorial. Do all that, get yourself to, ta-da, get yourself to that second last stitch or the last stitch, and I will meet you up. Alrighty, so here we are at the end of the row. Okay, and we are going to do our last, let's have a look, 2 stitches. I've got 2, I don't know how many you have. So just do your normal single crochets in your last stitches right there. Then, as we have been doing all along for most of our rows, let me get a nice close-up so you can see, we're going to slip stitch in the top of your single crochet that you did. Remember we did a chain and then a single crochet? Well, you're going to slip stitch in that top stitch right there and pull it through. Then we pull up a loop. All that does is lock it into place, gives it a bit of a knot there. Cut your work, and there you go. That is the reason we're cutting. Oh, I just realized I shouldn't have asked you to cut in case you wanted to use this thread again. If you wanted to use this thread to do your next row, you didn't need to cut. Sorry, guys. I should have mentioned that earlier. But I'm pretty sure I mentioned in the promo that we are going to do the next row in the white. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that knot there because I'm going to crochet over that one. But for my followers who do know me, I don't like to start a row where there's a knot. I mean, I have done in the past, but usually I don't. I just turn and start it somewhere else. Let's start it on the opposite side just for fun. Just for fun. Now, again, you can start wherever you like. Oh, by the way, I should have shown you guys. Does it look great? It looks great, doesn't it? It does, it does, it does. The joy of the contrast colour gives your work a burst, okay? The only thing that's wrong with the contrast colour is if you make a mistake, like if you lose a stitch somewhere, you will see the big white gap, okay? So just check your work before doing this next row, okay? Alrighty, we're going to start from any stitch just before the corner. It doesn't matter if it's a second or first or third or whichever, okay? So any stitch will do. I start before the corner because what I do is I like to show you the corner, and in most tutorials and in most items in the past, most people do start before the corner. It doesn't really matter, you can start wherever you like. Okay, so we're chaining 1 just to lock it into place. Now we are going to be doing half double crochets in this row. All right, so your half double crochets are yarn over your hook, pop it in the same stitch, yarn over hook, pull up a loop, yarn over hook, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Okay, you can crochet over that or you can pop it at the back, whatever you want to do. You've got your next stitch, that's my very tight stitch there, right there, and you do your next half double. All right, so here we are at the corner and you've got this 1, 2 stitches in there. So you're going to do a half double crochet in that very first stitch you come to. Okay, and now that's really tight stitch right there. So you're just going to see your little space. You're going to put a half double crochet in the space, 1, chain 1, and then another half double crochet in the space. Okay, then you pop your normal half double in the very next stitch, not the same stitch there, it's very tight, you wouldn't be able to get it anyway, but in your next stitch right there, and then you just keep going along the row with all your half double crochets. A little bit tight, that corner, but you do need that corner to help you sew in your pieces together, your two squares together. I know a lot of people saying, oh no, she's doing sewing. We don't like sewing. I know, we don't like sewing, but we do it, you know, because it looks better. It does, trust me. I tried single crocheting the pieces together and that it just did not it just did not look good, and it wasn't, I didn't like it. I didn't like the look of it. I'll show you one day with small pieces so that you can see what happens when you're when you're crocheting corner to corner and straight squares together. They don't go. They really don't. I mean, it looks great on here. Looks great on there when you do your single crochet across. But when you're doing them on two different styles of work, it doesn't go, okay? Okay, so there we go. Once we get to this space right here, when I get to it, we're nearly there. I'll show you what we can do. All right, we can just go over it. So there's your first, remember the stitches that we did in the corner before? That was your first single crochet. We're doing that there, half double in it. And then we had that jump over stitch. We're doing a normal half double crochet in the jump over stitch. And then we had another single crochet right there. And then we single crochet. So we really haven't done anything different. We're just putting half doubles into every V stitch you see. And that's all we're doing. Half double, half double, half double. I told you this is going to be an easy border. Right, now let's just have a quick look at it. I'm sorry, I should have left that there, shouldn't I? Just that place right there. How gorgeous does it look? All right, let's go a far away look so you can have a look. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so let's continue. You know, this has been a long haul, this pillow, hasn't it? It really has. All right, so we're half doubling all the way across. Can I say the word half doubling? Hey, I'm a magic maker. I can do whatever I like. Oh, that's not nice. It's not true, guys. Oh, dearie me. What will I do next, hey? Oh, I will do something exciting next. Coming up, not straight after this tutorial, but in the next week or so, there's going to be something very, very interesting. I hope you find it interesting. I hope you find it funny. I hope you find it decent. No, there's nothing bad about it. Trust me, guys. It's all crochet related. It's all in fun, and we're just going to have a bit of a laugh. And sometimes we need to take a break from everything and have a bit of a laugh. All right, we're coming up to that join again. Okay. Whoops, I just split the yarn there. Let's have a nice little close-up so you can see. There's your stitch right there. See your V? V, V, V. You're just going to put a half double crochet in every V you come to. I'm saying this very carefully here because if you skip this stitch, it's going to tug and pull and it's not going to look good. All right, we want it to look nice. Well, we want everything to look nice when we make something, right? All right, perfect. Trying to get my work position so you can see it without having any blurs. It happens when you've got too many items on the board. Okay, it's a big piece now. It's awkward to hold and crochet at the same time. So I hope your journey in crochet is just as fun as mine is. Try not to take it all too serious, guys. And yet you still want your work to look nice too. It's like a catch-22, isn't it? If you make a mistake, crochet is very forgiving. It's a craft where if you make a mistake, you can fix it. There's nothing that can't be fixed, okay? Unless, of course, you cut a massive hole in it and you need to remake it all over again or restart. Okay, we are near the corner. All right, let's get a nice close-up so you can see what we're doing on the corner, okay? I know we've already done one corner and we're going to do another. So there's your V's. There's one V for your first stitch in the corner, okay? There is another V right there. Now you've got, it's very, very squishy, but you've got a chain in there somewhere. It's right in there somewhere. very tight. That's my tight crocheting, guys. So you do 1 half double, chain 1, and then you do another half double. I hope I just did 1 and 1 on the other side too, but that's what we're doing. 1 half double, chain 1, 1 half double in the corner. Then we jump into the very next stitch with another half double, and we go all the way across. It's not difficult. It's just a little fiddly because we are working our half doubles in singles, and yours truly crochets extremely tight. So it makes it even more difficult to do our half doubles. Hopefully you don't crochet as tight as I do, but if you do, again, no problems, just keep going. All right, so what I'm going to do is show you what we need to do and what we've done. Oh my gosh, look how gorgeous. I love that with the yellow, orange and white you get this burst. Let's see if I pulled it out enough. There it is. All right, you get this burst of colour when you use all 3 colours together. All right, now we started here. We did, wake up Mary. We started here, we did half doubles into the corner, and then we did a half double, chain 1, half doubles all the way across, half double, chain 1, half double. You're going to do that, you're going to do that, you're going to do that until you get to second last stitch and meet me up. All right, guys, here we are at the end of the row. We are going to pop a half double in that stitch right there. There is one right before it. So we're going to put a half double in there. And then this is it, guys. We are just going to find that very first stitch that we came to. Let's get a nice close up so you can see. All right, the very first stitch right there. And there's your little V right there. That's where we're going to slip stitch into. Pull the loop through, pull it through there, pull up a loop, give it a cut, ta-da! Your piece is now final. Yay! Oh, too close. Yay! All right, so this is what you have. I mean, I'm loving the contrast. Look, 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 look. I know, guys, I usually block my pieces before I go ahead, but we want to get this pillow finished. So what we're going to do, just quickly, you don't need to do this. I'm just going to show you briefly. We crocheted, well, I did. You didn't actually see it because I wasn't online when we did it. I crocheted over my threads. Now, you can leave it like that if you like because that's going to be inside your pillow. But yours truly, as you know, I'm a little bit of a stickler. I am going to sew that end in as well, making sure you can't see it from the front, which you can't. All right, I'm going to sew that end in right there. Whoops, I didn't leave that thread long enough, did I? There we go. Sew that thread in right there. And now we're going to do the opposite direction. Different spot, of course, because you don't want to unravel what you just sewn in. Can't see it? Beautiful. And because I've already crocheted over it once, sewn it through twice, that's all I need for that one there. All right, now off air, what I want you to do is weave in that end and weave in those 2 ends. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you pretty much what we're going to do next. This is the best bit, guys. This is the putting together bit. Yay! I'm very, very excited. Okay, now, all right, you may notice with your corner to corner, these stitches do not add up on both sides because they are 2 different designs. They're not made to match up, okay? Now, what I want you to do before you start any sewing, now this is really important, otherwise you're not going to be able to get in. Take your buttons undone, okay? If you've already done this piece, if you haven't, go ahead, do it. Tutorials 1 to 4 is this pillow cover right here. So go ahead, do those tutorials and come back and then stitch the pieces together. So that's only open so that you can turn it in the right way when we're ready to do that, okay? Now what you do is you put the right sides facing each other. Right sides you'll know which has got the pillow, it's got the buttons on that side, and the right sides are our nice pretty side. So really what you should be seeing is your wrong sides. That's your wrong side, the flat side, and that's your wrong side, okay? That is what you should be seeing when we are working on doing our pillow. The wrong sides facing you, no matter which way you look at it. If you look at it this way, that's the wrong side. If you look at it this way, that's your wrong side as well. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is where you need your stitch markers. This is where it's really, really important, because your stitching does not match up. Okay, not because we didn't make it that way, it's because they're two different styles. Okay, so what we're going to do, you can use any form of stitch markers you like, large ones, small ones, whichever. Just grab a corner, and again with your corner to corner piece, you just put your stitch marker between any section of that corner. Okay, go to the next corner and do the same. Grab a corner bit, you know where we did the spaces before, find a space on your opposite side, a little bit tight that side because that's the part where I weaved in some ends, and there you go. All right, that's your corner. Oh, that's your corner. Your corner's done. Now we are doing one side at a time with our stitch markers. All right, so find your middle here, roughly middle, doesn't have to be perfect. Again, in through your, sorry about that guys, you'll be crocheting in through your V-stitch right there when we're ready to crochet. Okay, so find your end there, just find an opposite side, any space, it doesn't matter. This is the forgiving part of this pattern. Grab another stitch marker, find your other side right there. Okay, now I've done it where I've got it through the thicknesses of your, you know, the part where your buttons are, so it's going to be really tight. You find any space you like there. Now when you're sewing in, it kind of have to match. They kind of have to match. See, like that and that, you've got a little bit of a bubble there. That's okay. Sew in anywhere on your opposite side. In fact, we're going to work on that side, and that will help us to match it all up. All right, I hope that makes sense. Put your stitch markers in, turn it the opposite direction where your corner to corner is, grab your needle and some thread. Now, it's up to you how much thread you want. If you make it too long, it starts to split. The yarn starts to split because that's wool, and that's how wool works. So it's up to you whether you want to make the thread to last one side only and then do another thread. Or if you know how much you need, sorry guys, nice little close up there. If you know how much you need, then you only need to cut amounts that you need. But I cut a small amount, fairly small amount, so that way it doesn't tangle up a bit. We're going to grab our sides here, and there's your corner. So what you need to do is make sure that all that marries up, okay? And you can probably see this won't, so you have to try and make it marry up. So your first thing you're going to do is pop your needle in that corner where your stitch marker is. Sorry, I've been screen there. Pop your needle in the corner where your stitch marker is. There you go, right there. There's a little corner right there, okay? Now the opposite corner is right there, okay? You can take out your stitch marker for now, or leave it in, whichever suits you, and pull a loop through. We are going to weave that end in later. So leave a little end, like a nice tail end, like you would if you're crocheting. Leave a tail end, all right? Now, there's your corner, okay? Just go into a stitch near it and then pop. See that goes in there, right? Pop it in your very next stitch, your next V, which is right there. In the V itself, not under the stitch, just in the V. And pull your loop through a little bit, making sure you leave that long tail end there because you're going to need that later to weave in. Give it a tug. Now, hold the tail end and then give it a tug, because if you don't, it'll just pull your tail end out, okay? Then you go to another space in your corner to corner section, doesn't matter where, and marry it up in the very next stitch that you come to on your opposite. See your V right there, that little V right there? It's hard to see in this lighting, sorry guys. And then you just pull it through. And this is all you're going to do all the way along. Just remember to keep that as even as possible. So when you get to here, if you've left it like that, it's not going to marry up, is it? All right, and at the end, the whole thing will be out of whack. You don't want that. So what you want to do is, as best you can, if it helps you to put another, you know what, let's do it. Let's put another one right here. Right there, okay? In between all thicknesses, just grab an opposite stitch. If that helps you, then do another one. So that way, you know that all has to marry up. That all has to marry up, okay? And then so on, all right? So in the meantime, let's see where we're at. This is where we're at. Grab another side, anywhere you want. Wait, where are we? Now I'm getting confused. Anywhere you want, there is another V right there. So we went through the thickness there, another V right there. Okay? I keep coming out of frame. I'm sorry, guys. Let's try another one for you. There you go. There's another. Find the opposite stitch, which is right there, and pop it through. Being careful not to get your threads caught here. And there's another right opposite it there, and pop it through. And there's another. And there's your opposition right there. Opposition. Sounds like we're in a political leadership here. When really all we're doing is weaving in our end. Or sewing in our side seams, I should say. Pop that there. Get an opposition right there. Or corresponding stitch, if that's what you want to call it. Oh, it came out. I do apologise. There. And a corresponding stitch right there. There you go. Now, if you want to know if you're doing it correctly, don't pull it all undone. Just be very gentle. Open it a little bit, and there you go. All right? And you are doing it correctly. So now we're going to go back to what we were doing. Find another stitch there and your corresponding stitch there. Pull it through. Make sure you've got your corresponding stitch or you're going to have a hole. Now, this to me is my thick side because this is where the buttons were. All right, the buttons are starting to come up. See the buttons? So we're getting into the thickness here, okay? Probably best to show you the thick side so that later when you get to the thinner side, it'll be so much easier for you. So you grab any stitch on your corner to corner side, but make sure it's through all those thicknesses of your buttons, where your buttons are. All right, otherwise it's not going to work. And there's your little V that you're going through. Keep getting tagged into that knot right there. Probably pays to weave that in, but anyway, never mind. We're going to weave it in anyway. Again, through the thicknesses, find a corresponding stitch, and there you go. If you find that you're not happy with the strength of this, if you find that's a little bit, you don't think that's going to be strong enough, you can get another thread and go over it in different sections, like go through there. You can. But trust me, I've done this a million times before, and, well, maybe 4 times. I've done 4 pillows. That it does hold, trust me. And I've had one pillow from day one, which was 7 years ago. So there you go. Now, pop your next thread through any thickness, or your thicknesses, I should say. Then the opposite stitch, the V-stitch, pop it through there. And so on. Okay, do the same here. Pop it through a stitch, get the corresponding stitch right there, see the V, and pop it through there. Now, you can take out the stitch marker, and it all married up. And it's not too bubbled there, okay? All right, easy, easy. Easy, easy. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to do the same through all thicknesses. Now, this is a really thick side here. From here to here is the thickest part of our pillow. So you pop it through the V-stitch right there. Okay. Going through all thicknesses of that side. Pop it through the V-stitch right there. See, already my yarn is starting to split because that's what happens when you're pulling your yarn through yarn. It can split. It is normal. Pop it through all thicknesses. And your opposite V. I just want to show you until we get to the end of this thick section, and then you can pop on your own until you get to the corner. When you get to the corner, I'll show you what to do in the corner. Okay? This is the trickiest part of the pillow. Everything else has been relatively easy because it's crochet related, but this here is the trickiest part of the pillow. Okay, now we have, oh, golly gee, lots of thicknesses here now, eh? That's what happens when you're crocheting with 3 pieces together, or you're sewing with 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, easy, easy. We'll start picking up speed for you guys because it's going to be getting a bit long in the tooth if I keep slowing down. It's funny because someone questioned me the other day about the words long in the tooth, about that saying long in the tooth. They had never heard it before. Well, it's an 80s saying. I'm an 80s girl. Yeah, I'm old. Sorry, guys. I hate to disappoint you. Yeah, so it's an 80s saying. All right, here we are at your next stitch marker. But I'm going to open up because I want to show you how it looks. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now, what I did initially start doing was single crocheting the 2 together. It didn't look good at all, okay? I've never single crocheted the 2 together when doing pillows. That was my first time. I didn't like it. And, you know, you live and learn, okay? So I decided to sew it together. It does look 10 times better. Now, if it helps you, again, pop your stitch markers in different sections of your side, okay? Ordinarily, I don't usually do it because I pretty much know what I'm doing. But if you're new to crochet, look at this corner here. It's really quite, you might want to do a few in this corner because you don't want your pillow to be out of whack, you know, offside, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Perfect. All right. So what I want you to do now is head off on your own, finish this side, get to about there, like not right up to the corner, just a little bit before the corner. In fact, just between the pair of us, let's pop a stitch marker in that main stitch of your corner to corner right there. Yep. And then in about 3 or 4 stitches away from the corner. Okay, so that'll tell us where we're going to stop because we want to make sure that everything marries up at the end. All right, so go ahead, do all of that side right there until you get to the corner and wait for me there. Okay, alrighty, this is where I got to right here. There's my little stitch marker, about a stitch before maybe, just. And as you can see, my thread didn't make it across, so I've just added another thread. So there's no problems. This is the other side of the pillow, inside the pillow anyway. We are going to weave those threads in, so don't stress, guys. Okay, now, it might help to get the other side ready just for this part here, okay? Just this part right here, so you're doing your corner normally, okay? So with your corner, I know a lot of people find this awkward. I do too, but I say just keep going on the corner. Okay? So we're just going to go into that very next stitch right there. Whoops, I split the yarn there. That's no good. There. Okay. All right. And we're just going to finish off this corner without pulling in that little end there. All right. Find another one. Remembering to catch both sides or you're going to have a hole in your pillow. Okay. it kind of married up at the end. I actually didn't have to maneuver it too much, to be honest with you. So there you go. And here we're getting into our corner. Okay, we're going to take this stitch marker out because we want to play with this corner. This is a part where if you don't do this corner properly, you're going to get a hole. You really actually have to make sure you get into every stitch. Even if you have to go over it, that's fine. But you must get into every stitch. And it might even pay to put 2 in 1 stitch. It's not going to hurt to have 2 in 1 stitch. Okay, there you go. Too easy? Too easy. I'm going to put another one in there because I want some reinforcement. That's the very, very tip of your pillow. And we're turning around a little bit. Remembering to get through your thicknesses at the back, through your second side, as well as your first. Oh, it's a bit awkward now. The pillow's too big for me. Okay. I'm going over that one again. So I'm going over it again. You don't have to if you don't want to. Yours truly does. See, I've pulled that nice and tight. I'm just going to jump into the very next stitch right there, you see. Okay. Okay, nice and tight. Go into your next stitch right there. Stop what we're doing because, guys, we need to put our stitch markers on this side. Okay. Now, remembering your pillow is open. So when you're finished, you just turn it inside out. Okay, that's why we've left it opened. If you haven't left it opened, undo them now because once we sew up all these seams, you're not going to be able to get in. Or you might if you can kind of like sneak your fingers underneath, but that's a bit tricky. Find your corner, pop it in your corner side right there. Close it up. Now, you grab, this is a part where it's best to do it this way, turn it this way. You grab your sides here. Try to marry everything up. This side looks a little bit big for me. I don't know why, but I'm not worried because as long as we pop our stitch marker where we want them and we maneuver to suit the stitch marker, okay? And there's one. So right here. Okay, there's another. This is really thick. This is the button side again. You're going to come across your thick sides, guys. You really will. Now get into the middle of this here and do exactly the same as what you've done. Grab a stitch marker and pop it in between your 2 stitch markers from the corner to there. Doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle. As long as it's even enough for you to see that this is where we want it to be stitched. We don't want it to be stitched like that. Otherwise, it's going to be crooked all the way through. We want to make sure we're stitching it this way. Okay? You can do the same with this one here. Pop a stitch marker in between. Any which way you like. There is no right or wrong way of doing it. Just keep your work even. All right, there we go. Ta-da! All right, so that's roughly even. If you want to pop some more stitch markers in to make it even better, you can. All right, now we're going to turn around and finish off our pillow. Turn it around, turn your work around, that is. So you take that stitch marker out and you do pretty much what you did on the other side, okay? All right, so here we are. Let's get going. All right, there we go. Woohoo! Are we excited? I am, because I know that once we do these next 2 sides, or 3 sides I should say, we will be done. So what I'm going to do now is to let you head off on your own and do this side all the way until you get to there. Just before it, in fact, what we'll do what we did before. We will pop a little stitch marker right there. Yeah. Okay, so go ahead and do that side until you get to that stitch marker and meet me up. Alrighty, here we go at the end of this row right here. I'm going to take out my little stitch marker. All right, now we still have our corner stitch marker in place. Okay, hopefully yours evened out. Mine didn't a little bit. I had to pull and tug here a little bit, but that's okay. And that's the forgiving part of this pattern. So you just keep going through until hopefully your thread hasn't split like mine has split so much. Here we go. Now we're under control. And I actually changed my thread again. So I have started doing smaller and smaller threads because this is what's happening. See the splitting? That's what happens when you leave your thread too long and you keep pulling it through like this. It gets tangled and it splits and the rest of it. Okay? All right, so take your corner piece out. All right, remember we want it to marry up. Okay, so just make sure it's really important that this marries up or your pillow will be lopsided. Okay, so if it doesn't marry up there, force it to marry up right here. Okay. Okay, pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. It's taken us so long. Okay, just getting into your corner stitches. Remember to get right into that stitch. Okay. There. And there. Okay. There. Oh, it's a little bit blurry here, isn't it? Sorry, guys. That's better. Is that better for you? I think so. Okay, and then we're just going to do the same here. Making sure we're in that stitch. It's a little bit fluffy, that stitch. And there. All right, we have now turned our corner. So that means we're going to pop our stitch markers in. All right, guys, in the corners as we've been doing all along. One there and one there. It's pretty cool, huh? Now we've already gone past that corner. We don't need to put a stitch marker in there. I'm going to use the bigger stitch markers because these are actually two different sizes. Check them out, guys. Ta-da! They're two different sizes. Pretty cool. Okay, now make sure we've got a nice flat side to the pillow. This is where it tugs a little bit because we've got our pillow open. Okay, our pillow's open. It's going to pull, all right? So you need to make sure yours marries up nicely. So pop one side in there like that. Get another one. Pop it in there. And if it doesn't marry up, you change it because I have a feeling this is not marrying up. Okay. See how it's pulling? It's not marrying up. There. All right, this one's a little bit loose this side. It's just the way I've crocheted it. So we're going to change it to marry it up. The stitches are exactly the same, but it's just the way I've crocheted them. There we go. Play with it, adjust it to suit you, and then you turn it over and start again. Okay? Very, very basic. And I just think because this is the split side, the longer side, that's going to be a little bit loose. So you need to make sure you are sewing over it nice and tightly. Okay? Like that. Oh, get far away. How can you see anything? All right, there we go. Okay, too easy? Now, best part is I want you to continue in this manner, changing your threads and cutting your threads and re-adding threads. Then later I'll show you how to weave a couple of them in, so don't stress too much. As you go along, continue in this manner. When you get to the end of this row, in fact, I know this is a very long tutorial, guys, but I did mention that in the beginning it's going to be long because I want to finish it. It doesn't matter how long this is. I want to finish the pillow today. All right. So when you get to that section right there, meet me up and we will get ready for our final side. Yay, very exciting. Alrighty, here we are at the end of this row as well. Well, I keep saying a row. It's actually a side. I think in every tutorial I say row. It's a side. A side, Mary, get it right. All right, so we are just going to finish off our little section here. Now the best part about this part is we have one side left to go. And as you've noticed, I just change my threads every so often now because I just can't stand the splitting of the yarn. It splits all the time, and it splits when you pull it through too tightly or too quickly. Just do it slowly. There's a lot of tips to help you stop that. See how when it's done slowly it doesn't split? I know, I'm just rushing. The other thing is too, guys, I'm going to show you a little tip later. I forgot to mention it earlier because yours truly has forgotten what she used to do with her pillows, on how to stop that point. We're going to keep going around. Then later I'm going to show you how to just try sewing just along there in the old fashioned way of sewing. And I'll show you that later. But for now, we're just going to continue what we have been doing for the corners. I'd forgotten about that little tip. It's been years since I've done a pillow. It's been, oh, not really, a year and a half maybe, nearly 2. Yeah, I've done a few pillows. I haven't done them for a while. Just keep going around your little corner there. You don't need to strengthen it now because I'm going to show you that other trick later. You can if you like. It's entirely up to you. Ugh, very fiddly. Now it's getting too big. It's far too fiddly. Okay, whoops. It's a little bit crooked there. I found that side was a little bit loose that I just did, and I think it's because it just depends on whether it's the top part of your corner to corner or the side part. So the stitches are the same. It's just the way I've crocheted the actual pieces together. So I'm just going to do this one right here. Just get around that corner. See, if you hold it and you put it through slowly, it doesn't split. Hello, Mary. Getting violent on my tutorials, am I? Okay. All right. So here we are. Yay, we've got the last row to do. It's the best. It's the best. Aren't we excited? Okay. So what you're going to do, like you've been doing all along, do your middle bits right there. And your other side right there. Oh, I've got a thread sticking out there. I need to cut that. Okay, right there. And there you go. Now, this is very important, this side, because this is your closing up side. I can't bring that out any further. This is your closing up side. It's your final side. Now, if you haven't unbuttoned those buttons, do it now, guys. You're going to be caught out otherwise, because we're going to stitch that right up and over and it's going to be done. Okay, so there you go. Get ready to do this round. In fact, I'm sorry, it's not a round, it's a side. You know, this is aggravating me. See how niggly I am? I really can't stand the thought of seeing a little tiny thread sticking out. It's annoying me. How do you like that, guys? So finish off that side right here. Get to there, the corner right there. In fact, I'm going to pop a little stitch marker right there. You don't need to. I will, because I want to do this last bit with you. And then get ready for what's going to happen next. Okay, yes, there's a little bit more, guys. Sorry, there is a little bit more to do. Not much, very little. So go ahead and do that side and meet me up. Alrighty, guys, here we are at the end of the row. Very, very exciting, isn't it? I know, right? I know. Okay, so all we're doing is exactly what we've been doing all along. Okay, keep going through all thicknesses. Now this is where I'm going to show you the little tip of what to do to your corners. And I can't believe I'd forgotten to do this before. So we're going to do it now. It's no big deal, guys. You won't be able to notice it from the inside. Okay, so just make sure you're getting your corners. Make sure you're getting all the... why am I so far away? Sorry, guys. Make sure you're getting all those thicknesses in the corners, okay? Not too worried now because we're going to do something else with these corners in a minute. I've already done 2 corners, so I'm going to show you those 2 corners. You may or may not notice. See right here, I have sewn across there on one and sewn across there on the other. It's hard to see, but I'm going to show you now with this. And then later, you're going to go ahead. Oh no, we'll do this one together as well. All right, now it's going to be a little bit fiddly with this thread sitting here, so I'm just going to pop that at the back. There. We may have to just weave that in. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll pull my thread out. Just going to weave this little end in. In fact, you could probably weave this end in too. And you might notice I've already weaved in all of my ends. I had quite a few ends because I kept cutting the thread and restarting. So to see with this end right here, just go back into anywhere you want, one of those stitches. Oh, sorry guys, I wasn't in frame. Let me try that again. Right there, any of those stitches right there, pop your thread in there. This is just that small end from before. Now what I want you to do is just weave in and out of any section you see up the top, not down the side, or you'll be weaving on the inside of your work. You don't want to do that. So just up the top, anywhere you like. It doesn't matter. You're just hiding your end. You're not doing anything with it. But do it a couple of times because that's the first one we started with and you don't want that to come undone. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to rethread that other thread that we started off with. Right here. All right. Okay. Now it's probably, it doesn't matter which way you want to do this. Okay, it really doesn't matter. I'll do it on the orangey side first so you can see it. And all we're doing is just, oops, sorry guys, popping our thread, our needle, just to the very, very top of our row there. All right, just pass it through another bit right there. Okay, and now we are going to sew across this corner right there. Now, it doesn't have to be a big, you could do it small if you like, it just as long as you go across. Try not to do it over a space or it'll go through and you'll see this thread. So your best bet is to go in and out, that way, in. I'll do it this way, we'll go through, that way you know what I'm doing, that way. Just leave a little space, doesn't have to be big, just tiny little pinky space right there, through, no, sorry, let's try that again, a little bit lower. There's no right or wrong, but you want to make sure you're curving your work a bit. So your pillow is no longer got points, it's got little curves. And through there, like so. And then through there, like so. Through the top of those chains right there. Now you're going to go back the other way, but you're not going, this is too far away, sorry guys. You're not going there, you're going in that stitch just before it, there. So you're actually filling up the gaps, right? Have a look on the other side, see that stitch there, right there? Sorry, see that stitch right there? You're going in there, where you were before. Through the other side, you can split the thread if you like, doesn't matter. And there's the stitch right there, you can probably just see it. Right, see that little white right there? We're going back in there to the opposite side. And then you're just going across to your side. Doesn't matter how you do this part because this is the end. Now, you're just going to weave this up the top because we're done. Oops, without splitting it like that, like I just did. It's very fiddly, isn't it, guys, this time of the pillow's status, because the pillow is all thick there, which means your thread, it's not going to come undone, trust me, guys. There's so much thickness there, that is not going to come undone. So that's one side, give it a cut. All right, now I've done 2 other sides. We are going to do another side together, and then you're going to head off on your own and do your other 2 sides. Okay, so just get a piece of thread, doesn't matter how long you make it. You don't need it that long, you're just doing a little corner. And I'm going to do this part on the darker side so you can actually see it. Because before I don't think I was very clear. All right, so there we go. So what you've got is your point, right? To stop that from sticking out when you put it in the right way, in a normal sewing situation, you curve, so you don't have a point. So all you're doing is going across that way with your stitching. That's pretty much all you're doing. So I'm going to show you again. Go through. I usually just go like that in and out, right? But I'm going to show you properly so you can see it. You go through anywhere, okay, like so. Leave a long thread so you can weave that in later. Turn it over. Find another spot. Go through. There. Go across. Pop it in. Any space you want. See how you can see the thread there? You do the same at the back. Pop it through. Thickness it's probably a little bit too low. That's better. Now we're just going to go through the top so that we can be on this side. Like we did before, we're just going over the top. So there. See now that stitch right there? I'm going to go into that stitch right there. Okay, so now you've doubled over. You're not going to see gaps. Now you've got to find where we went before. I think the thread is in right there. It's hard to see, but it's right there. So we're popping it through there, like so. And then we are going across. They are like so. This is what happens when I get a bit excited. I start to become sing-songy. And yeah, we're just going over it. That's all I'm doing. You don't need to. In fact, you don't really need to. Once is enough. Pop it through, thicknesses, through the other side so you can't see it through the pillow down here. Just keep weaving in and out. That's the end of that. 2 or 3 times. I think I did it 3 times. That's plenty. Got the neighbours making so much noise. I hope you can't hear them, guys, because there's a whole lot of squealing happening. It sounds like the house has been taken over by gremlins. That's true. All right. So, same with this side. In fact, what we might do is just make this a bit thicker and pop it through there like that. Oh, really is thick, isn't it? Turn it back this way. And then weave it in and out through that little corner bit. It's not going to show because that bit's going to be sewn through, so you won't see it. So you're weaving in and out. Make sure you weave this one in and out quite a few times because that was your first thread that you started with, and that may come undone if you don't weave it in enough. I'm being honest here because I don't want you to come to me next week and say, well, mine came undone. And you've got to use that voice too, guys. All right, there you go. Now, guess what, guys? You have completed your pillow. Aren't you excited? I am. Not really. You guys need to go ahead and do your other 2 corners. But when you have done your corners, this is why I asked you to leave it open. You turn your pillow inside out, or in the right way because it was already inside out. And you stick your fingers right into those corners. See the corners? When I get one out, I could show you. There. See the corners right there? They are now rounded. Instead of being pointy, they're rounded. Okay, cool. Turn it over, have a look. You can give it a bit of a nudge and there you go, rounded. If you want to make that point right there, I'm trying to get my hands back in the pillow now, that point right there stick out a little bit, just push a little bit more. All right, and there you go. Now, don't forget, you need to sew your other corners in. And you know what? If you haven't sewn them in yet and you want to see what they look like, pop your fingers in and do this and you'll see how sticky outy, if that's a word that I can use. I think I've used that before on my tutorials. How sticky outy it becomes. All right, so making those corners on an angle make it look better. Okay, oh, I haven't done all 4 corners. I'm trying to get this organized for you so that I can show you. And right at the end of this tutorial, the very, very last few seconds or minutes, I will show you footage of what it looks like on the pillow. But before I do, we're going to put the stuffing in. Okay, now you may not see it because it's really awkward. Oh, trying to get it all straightened out now. It's really awkward for me to get it all in the camera this way. So I'm going to pop it in. In fact, I'll start doing it. And then right at the very end, I will pop a little footage of the pillow all complete. Okay. Now, I'm not sure what size pillow you used. I think this one here is a little bit small, but it's not actually not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, now we're going to pop our buttons up. Oh, this is exciting, guys. Oh, look at me shake. At the end of every tutorial. And don't forget, guys, yours truly does her little victory dance at the end of every tutorial. So once I'm done here, I'm going to do my little victory dance. If you're not sure what the victory dance is, I'll pop the link to that particular victory dance to a blanket we completed in the description box down below. But in the description box down below, you'll have your first, second, third, fourth tutorials, which is this one right here. And then you'll have your 5th and 6th tutorials, which is this one right here. Now I'm going to pause the camera for a minute and show you the actual pillow. Ta-da! Is it not gorgeous? Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand, guys. How gorgeous does it look? I know, right? I know. Let's turn her over. And I'll show you properly when we do a vlog on Sunday. So you'll be able to see that properly. But see, this is your autumn, fall, winter side, or the mood that you are in. Nice, quiet, somber side. But then you want to party, you pop it this side, and there's your summer, spring, fancy party side. Yay! So thank you so much for watching, guys. I have really enjoyed doing this particular tutorial, and well, not actually the tutorial itself, but the actual pillow itself. I have had a lot of fun with it. It has taken us a long time, and I do apologize for that. However, I'm not too worried because it's now officially done, and we can now get on with our next project, which was the honey cowl and still is. We're going to get that done within the next 2 weeks, guys, because yours truly has to get on with our new year here at Wow Crochet. So thank you so much for watching, guys. And as I say after all my tutorials, ciao for now.